Hello, President Burwell. Thank you for coming out tonight.
Tell us your name, please.
My name is Alan Bakel, and I'm a graduating senior in December. And I'm the president of the Ethiopian Eritrean Student Association. So my question for you is, as president of American University, what were your thoughts and plans on creating a safe campus by preventing racial injustice and hate crimes? I'm sure as a woman who has a different work experience and educational background than former President Kerwin, you have different and unique insights on creating a safe campus on college campuses.
So I think as we think about the issues that we've had on our campus, focusing on a number of different things, of which safety is one of them in terms of how we think about it. I think the incidents that we've had also reflect that for a number of students, the question of a sense of belonging and how they feel on the campus. And so first, thinking about what are short-term actions we need to take and the long-term changes that we need to make on our campus. And the other thing is thinking about what's happening here in the context of the nation. I think you all know our incident with regard to the postering on our campus, which occurred recently with the Confederate posters. Over 150 campuses across the country have been postered. In terms of, so we put our experience in the context of the nation, but look at ourselves specifically. And as we think about what are the things we want to do and how to think about it, first, the investigations are actually very important in terms of taking these events seriously and sending a clear signal in terms of how we as a university feel about it. I think you know on the first incident, Dr. Kerwin and others worked to make it a hate crime. What that means is that the Justice Department leads the investigation, and we support that and follow in. And so I check in actually once a week with our investigators to make sure that we're doing everything we can to both push and support our colleagues in the Justice Department. So there's the investigation. Second is taking actions in the short term as we put together a longer term plan. And a number of things that we're working on already were being worked on, but also we did over the summer. And whether that's issues around communication and making sure that we're communicating quickly and in forms that I think relate to you all in terms of how you think about the communication, whether that was the fact that immediately Dr. Ov put out a statement, as did Dr. Kendi. I followed with a statement as well, and within hours, less than a day, we had a gathering at our K Spiritual Center to have a conversation and unite us as a community. So there are cultural issues that are important, and then there are specific actions that relate to things like space. One of the issues I bet we'll talk about this evening is space, and I think many of you know in terms of how we're trying to create better space for our multicultural organizations so that they can be together and that we can work on those issues together. In addition, there's the long-term plan. I think many of you know one of the first things I did in the first 4 weeks was bring on someone from outside who's worked on these issues and was recommended by another female president, Jonetta Cole, an African-American woman who has been president of universities, as a consultant to come and help us put together a long-term plan. On the safety, I think sometimes students mean safety as in physical. In my conversations with you all, sometimes you actually mean safety in terms of how you feel. The sense of belonging, I think, is about the culture and those issues. The physical safety are issues we take very seriously. I think you know we've gone from 200 to over 600 cameras on campus. For those of you who aren't using it, I would recommend Rave Guardian so that you actually on your phone have a means by which you can communicate if you see something or have concerns. Call the campus escorts. I'm not sure many people know that if you ever have a situation where you're not feeling comfortable, you should call those escorts. And so there are a number of things there. But in addition to that, because we want to hear from you, a lot of steps have been taken, but we're going to have some open conversations that will start this week and next week, to talk about other safety issues and whether or not there are more things that we think we want to do, because some of these things actually come with trade-offs. So if we badge into all our buildings, that has pluses and minuses. And so we want to hear from the community before we take next steps that are even more aggressive on safety.